Far up in the north there is an island full of ice. At first glance you would never think that these endless glaciers and icebergs are in danger. In this land, countless birds and sea creatures find shelter and food. There are only a few places in the world where the power of nature can be felt intense as here. Everything seems to be moving. The southernmost point of Greenland geographically reaches down to the latitude of Norway's capital Oslo. Thanks to the transatlantic and later the Gulf Stream, which carries heat from the equator to the north, the Scandinavian countries enjoy a very mild climate. With the exception of Greenland, starting from here the cold and heavy water flows back to the south. The fjord of Narsarsvak and Narsak is known for the particularly ancient and blue icebergs. The less oxygen the ice contains, the more blue it appears. The best way to explore the ice is by sea on an old fisher boat or a kayak. The thousands of icebergs are the offspring from a glacier called Kangeglitsermiat. Like most glaciers in Greenland, this stream is currently losing volume dramatically. One of Greenland's most beautiful landscapes is the Scoresbysund in the northwest, the largest fjord system in the world. Here too, the melting ice increasingly exposes the immense mountain world which has remained hidden for thousands of years. The icebergs in the fjord are among the largest in the northern hemisphere. On a more than 100 years old sailing vessel, we explored the up to 330 kilometer inland reaching fjord. In the western part of Scoresbysund, where the Red Island juts out of the sea, we reach Ice City. A city of up to 60 meters high icebergs, which used to be lying there for years before becoming one with the sea. Today, this decay often lasts less than a single summer. Along the red sandstone decorated Harefjord, we head east to the Bear Islands. often only the very tops of the mountains stick out of a sea of fog. But when the fog dissolves, unique color games arise. In the northwest of Greenland, the famous glacier called Sermeck-Kujalleq, with a length of over 80 kilometers, flows into the Disco Bay. With an average flow speed of up to 7 kilometers per year, this glacier holds the sad world record of the fastest flowing ice current on Earth. Shortly before Disco Bay, the large chunks of ice, which reach up to 80% into the water, are prevented from flowing into the sea by increased seabed. In the midst of these stranded icebergs, hundreds of humpback whales are gathering in the summer to hunt in the water rich in fish. The up to 16 meters long and 25 tons heavy whales are easily recognizable by their white flippers, which can reach up to the third of their body length. Their blows are sounding miles over the ice of Disco Bay. About 80 kilometers north of Ilulissat, the Eki Glacier flows into the sea. The glacier became famous for its gigantic calvings. In the summer month, the up to 200-meter high front calves literally every few minutes. Hundreds and thousands of tons of ice are crashing into the sea every hour. I spent 4 days flying and filming along the 5 kilometers long glacier front. It took me over 70 flights to get 3 shots showing the calvings close by. Since I came here for the first time 8 years ago, the glacier has retreated by more than 2 kilometers. Whenever I look at an iceberg, it fills me with sadness, as it stands for inexorable transience. Here in Greenland, the effect of global warmings are better seen than in most other places in the world. Researchers have long assumed that the up to 3,000 meter thick ice sheet of Greenland slowly and continuously melts away. But thanks to recent satellite-based research, it is now known that the mass loss per year is much greater than expected. The flow and melting speed of glaciers has reached an unprecedented level of dynamics. Many people are not aware of the impact that the glacier meltdown in Greenland has on all of us and our environment. Due to polar reinforcement, the global temperature increase in the Arctic is much more effective than elsewhere. An average global warming of 2 degrees Celsius would impact Greenland with a local increase of up to 4 to 5 degrees. This would cause an accelerated melting of the entire Greenlandic ice shield. The amount of fresh water stored in the ice would mean a global sea level rise of 7.4 meters. In the history of the world, there always has been a changing climate, but not at this speed and triggered by us humans. Of course, each individual must make a contribution to the environmental protection of the Earth. But the point is that the government of every single country has to show people how to do it. Environmental protection has to be prescribed by law. The Climate Agreement of Paris has offered a very good start. Of course, these goals are currently associated with high costs and expenditure. But the future costs caused by climate refugees, extreme storms, long droughts, floods, widespread fires, etc. will be far higher. We do have only one planet. Let us take care of it together before it's too late.